There you are. Right on schedule. Good. Don't speak. Don't blink. Just listen, because the room changes when you do. Word got out. Not the cute version, not the polite version that people can laugh off and forget. The real version. The one that crawled out of the cracks in the floorboards and stood up in broad daylight, wearing your name like a warning label. The one that made grown men swallow their pride like broken glass. The one that made loud mouths suddenly discover respect and call it maturity. And now nobody's stupid enough to test you again. And it's funny, because they'll never admit why. They'll dress it up with excuses. It's not worth the drama. I'm focused on my piece. I'm just in a different season. Season? No, sweetheart. This isn't a season. This is survival. This is the moment they realized you're not built like the people they've been playing with. See, most people live predictable. They argue the same. They fear the same. They break the same. They're like vending machines. Shake them right, press the right buttons, and they drop exactly what you want. Everybody knows the patterns. Everybody knows the scripts. But you're the one script that doesn't read the same twice. You're the paradox they can't study. The saint with a heartbeat like a weapon. The angel with fingerprints on the blade. The soft voice carrying a hurricane. The person who can look like mercy until you become consequence. And that's why the rumors don't sound like gossip anymore. They sound like instructions, like a public safety announcement whispered in private. Don't poke that one. Don't corner them. Don't make jokes. Don't try it. Not because you're the loudest, not because you're the biggest, not because you threaten people like some cheap bully. No, because when you snap into focus, reality rearranges itself around you. They've seen you get hurt and come back strange. They've seen you lose something that should have ended you. And instead of collapsing, you got quieter, sharper, cleaner. Like pain didn't kill you, pain trained you. Like suffering didn't break your spirit, suffering edited your personality and deleted your fear. And that's the part that terrifies them, because they understand rules. They understand social pressure. They understand shame. They understand the normal kind of control, but they do not understand someone who has already lived through humiliation, betrayal, abandonment, disrespect, who has already been stripped down to nothing and decided calmly, okay, I can work with this. You know what that is? That's freedom. Because once you've lost what everyone else is terrified to lose, you become a walking nightmare for anyone who tries to manipulate you. You can't be threatened the same way. You can't be baited the same way. You can't be controlled with the same leash. And they felt it. They felt the moment your nervous system stopped begging for approval and started operating like a machine that runs on truth. They thought you were nice. They thought you were gentle. They mistook your restraint for weakness, because weak people love believing their victims are weak. It makes the world feel simple. It makes them feel safe. So they tried it. Just a little test, just a little disrespect, just a little push, a little joke, a little exclusion, a little sabotage, a little, let's see what happens if we treat them like they don't matter. And for a moment, you let it happen. Not because you didn't notice, because you were watching. You were letting the mask slip off their face. You were letting them reveal the exact kind of creature they really are when they think there's no consequence. You were collecting evidence with your eyes. You were building a map of their character, quietly, patiently, like a predator who doesn't waste energy chasing prey that's already trapped itself. And then you moved. Not loud, not messy, not theatrical, just final. And that's when the entire atmosphere shifted, because they expected you to react like everyone else reacts. Cry, plead, explain, negotiate, rage, fall apart. They expected you to beg for understanding, to beg for fairness, to beg for love, to beg for them to stop. But you didn't beg. You adjusted. You changed the rules without asking permission. You showed them the terrifying truth. You are capable of being kind, and you are capable of being cold. You can be warmth, and you can be winter. You can be the softest place to land, and the hardest lesson they ever learn. And after that, the tests stopped. Because once people realize you're not safe to provoke, they become polite. Oh, they become so polite. They start smiling with their teeth clenched. They start speaking with caution. They start measuring their words like they're walking across a minefield. You ever notice how the same people who used to treat you like a joke suddenly treat you like a storm warning? That's not respect. That's fear wearing manners. And fear is honest. See, respect is something people perform when it benefits them. Fear is what they feel when they realize you're the kind of person who can walk away without shaking. You're the kind of person who can cut ties without screaming. You're the kind of person who doesn't need the room to clap in order to know what you are. They can't handle that because they built their whole identity on reactions. They live for control. They live for leverage. They live for being able to press your buttons and watch you dance. But you stopped dancing. You became the one holding the silence. And silence is the scariest weapon in a world full of noise. That's why they're scared to test you again, because they remember what it felt like the last time. They remember the moment you didn't argue, you didn't chase, you didn't explain, you just withdrew your energy like someone pulling oxygen out of a room. And suddenly, everything they were doing felt empty. Suddenly their jokes sounded stupid, their little games looked childish, their confidence started leaking out of them, because your attention wasn't just attention. Your attention was permission. Your presence was power, and you took it away. You ever watch how fragile people become when you stop feeding them your emotional labor? When you stop giving them reactions to chew on, when you stop being the mirror they use to feel important, they crumble because they were never fighting you. They were feeding off you. And when the food disappears, the parasite panics. So they talk about you in side conversations now. Not out loud where you can hear it. No, they're smarter than that now. They whisper, they trade stories, they compare notes, they turn your name into a cautionary tale so they can feel like they're still in control of it. Yeah, just don't mess with them. Trust me, it's not worth it. They're different. Different. That word tastes like fear when it comes from people who thought they had you figured out. And here's the funniest part. The part you should savor. They don't even know what you'll do. That's what haunts them. Not a specific threat. Not a specific move. It's the unknown. It's the fact that you're capable of patience, and you're capable of precision. It's the fact that you can forgive, and you can disappear. It's the fact that you can love deeply and detach instantly. They can't predict you because you're not operating from their petty emotional logic. You're operating from an evolved place, an ugly kind of wisdom that only comes from pain. Pain gave you something nobody can teach: discernment. Pain taught you how to read micro-expressions. Pain taught you how to feel the lie under the words. Pain taught you how to recognize nice as camouflage and loyal as a costume. Pain taught you that the sweetest smiles sometimes come from the hungriest mouths. So you stopped being naive. You stopped thinking everyone is like you. You stopped thinking people will love you the way you love them. And in that moment, you became dangerous. Not violent, dangerous. Because you don't need chaos to win. You don't need a scene. You don't need to destroy anyone. You just need to see clearly and make one clean decision. That's it. One decision can end someone's access to you. One decision can starve someone's influence. One decision can change the entire power structure of a room. And you make decisions like a person who has already survived the worst. Like someone who has already buried versions of themselves that begged for scraps. That's what they sensed. That's what they fear. They remember how you used to be easy to guilt, easy to pressure, easy to manipulate with pity, with blame, with you're overreacting, with you're too sensitive, with you're making it a big deal. And then you evolved. You learned the language of predators. You learned that when someone tells you you're too much, what they mean is you're too hard to control. You learned that when someone calls you crazy, what they mean is you're not accepting the story I wrote for you. You learned that when someone says you changed, what they mean is you stopped tolerating what I benefited from. So you stopped shrinking. You stopped negotiating your self-respect. You stopped apologizing for your intuition. And when you stopped apologizing, the world got careful. Now look at you. People don't test you anymore. They test other people. They choose easier targets. They choose the ones who still need approval, the ones who still confuse love with access, the ones who still mistake attention for value. But you, they'll watch you from a distance like a caged animal they're not sure is actually caged. They'll keep their hands to themselves. They'll keep their jokes soft. They'll keep their disrespect subtle, because they're not sure what you'll do if they push too far again. And here's where the duality becomes your crown. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to be. Because your energy carries a history now. You walk into rooms with scars people can feel. Not physical scars, something worse, something deeper. The kind of scars that tell the truth. You were hurt, and you didn't die. You were betrayed, and you didn't lose your mind. You were underestimated, and you didn't beg to be understood. You adapted. You became the contradiction that breaks weak minds. A person who can be loving and terrifying. A person who can be calm and lethal to illusions. A person who can smile while deciding internally. This is the last time you ever get access to me. That's angel and demon in the same skin. That's saint and psychopath sharing one heartbeat. That's the kind of duality people write myths about, because it doesn't fit in their neat little moral boxes. And the truth is, you didn't choose this because it was fun. You were forged into it. Pain didn't just visit you. It moved in. It rearranged the furniture. It rewired your emotions. It forced you to grow up inside your own skull. It forced you to look at the world without its makeup on. And you know what you found? You found that most people aren't brave. They're comfortable. You found that most people don't want truth. They want control. You found that most people don't love you. They love how you make them feel about themselves. So you stopped begging for love from mouths that only know how to consume. And when you did, the entire universe noticed. Because you went from, please accept me, to prove you deserve me. And now the people who used to disrespect you can't even maintain eye contact for too long. They laugh too loud when you walk by. They change the subject when your name comes up. They suddenly remember boundaries. They suddenly respect peace. They suddenly understand maturity. It's pathetic, but it's also delicious, because you earned this, not with cruelty, with evolution, with discipline, with silence, with self-control, with the kind of internal war that nobody clapped for. You got here by being betrayed and not turning into a beggar. You got here by being hurt and not turning into a monster, at least not the kind that destroys everything. No, you became a different kind of monster, the kind that only destroys delusion, the kind that only kills access, the kind that only burns bridges that lead to hell. And people sense that now. They sense that you're not emotional prey anymore. You're an emotional event. You're the kind of person who, once provoked, doesn't get loud, gets strategic. You don't shout, you shift. You don't argue, you withdraw. You don't compete, you outlast. And that's why nobody tests you again, because deep down, they know if you wanted to be cruel, you could be devastating. But you don't need cruelty to be powerful. You just need clarity. And clarity is terrifying to people who survive by confusion. So let them whisper. Let them tiptoe. Let them act like you're intense now. Of course you're intense. You've seen what people do when they think there are no consequences. You've seen what loyalty looks like when it's convenient. You've watched masks slip. You've watched friends turn into strangers and strangers turn into lessons. So yeah, you're intense because you're awake. And awake people don't get played the way sleeping people do. Just remember this and keep it in your chest like a loaded truth. The goal was never to make them like you. The goal was to make them respect the boundary they used to ignore. The goal was never to be understood. The goal was to be undeniable. And now you are. Now you're the person they warn each other about. Now you're the energy they don't touch unless they mean it. Now you're the name that makes cowards behave. Not because you scream, because you don't have to, because you've become the one thing fragile people can't handle. Someone who won't sacrifice themselves to keep the peace. Someone who can walk away and still breathe. Someone who can be light without being weak. Someone who can be dark without being sloppy. Someone who can love without losing themselves. That is power. That is the kind of power that doesn't need a spotlight. It just needs presence. And your presence, it's the reason word got out. It's the reason the game stopped. It's the reason nobody's stupid enough to test you again. And here's the part they don't say out loud. The part that lives in the back of their throat like a swallowed confession. They didn't just stop testing you because you won. They stopped because they realized you don't need to win. You're not chasing dominance. You're not hungry for validation. You're not addicted to applause or revenge or proving a point. You already crossed that desert. You already starved that version of yourself to death. What scares them is that you're calm after the war. That kind of calm doesn't come from peace. It comes from certainty. They can feel it when you walk into a space. There's no tension in your shoulders, no desperation in your eyes, no eagerness to be seen, no need to perform. You're not scanning faces looking for approval. You're not adjusting yourself to fit the room. The room adjusts to you, because people can sense when someone has already made peace with losing everything, when someone has already faced abandonment and survived, when someone has already been misunderstood misjudged, misrepresented, and kept going anyway. That's the kind of person you don't poke. That's the kind of person you don't corner. That's the kind of person you leave alone unless you're prepared to meet a version of reality you can't control. They know you don't bluff. They know you don't bark without teeth. They know you don't explode. You decide. And decision is terrifying to people who live their lives reacting, because reactions can be manipulated. Decisions can't. You've become the kind of presence that forces honesty out of liars. The kind of energy that makes fake people uncomfortable in their own skin. The kind of silence that exposes insecurity without saying a word. You don't argue anymore. You don't convince. You don't chase closure. You let people reveal themselves, and then you believe them. That alone makes you lethal. They can't gaslight you the same way. They can't rewrite history when you've already accepted the truth. They can't threaten you with abandonment when you already know how to walk alone. They can't control you with fear when fear was the furnace that made you. You learned something most people never do. You learned that pain is a teacher, not a sentence. You learned that losing people can sharpen you instead of hollowing you out. You learned that dignity doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being aligned. And once that clicked, everything changed. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were never listening. You stopped shrinking to keep fragile egos comfortable. You stopped negotiating with disrespect. You stopped confusing tolerance with strength. And when you stopped doing those things, the world recalibrated. People became careful, not because you became cruel, but because you became clear. Clear about what you accept. Clear about what you walk away from. Clear about the fact that your kindness is a choice, not an obligation. Clear about the truth that access to you is earned, not owed. That clarity is the line they won't cross again, because they remember what happened the last time they underestimated you. They remember how quiet you got. They remember how fast things changed after that. They remember realizing, too late, that you were never weak. You were patient. And patience, when paired with intelligence, is terrifying. So now they keep their distance, they behave. They think twice. They watch their tone. They mind their words. They call it respect. But you know what it really is. It's recognition. Recognition that you're not the person they thought they could play with. Recognition that you're not the version of you that needed to be chosen. Recognition that you are fully capable of being warm and fully capable of being gone. And the final truth, the one that seals it, the one that ends this chapter for good, is this. You don't need to prove anything anymore. Not your strength, not your value, not your darkness, not your light. You've already proven the only thing that matters. You survived becoming yourself. You walked through the fire without becoming a slave to it. You integrated the angel and the demon instead of letting either one own you. You learned restraint without losing power. You learned compassion without sacrificing self-respect. You learned how to stand alone without becoming bitter. And that's why the tests stopped. Because people test those they believe they can break. They test those they believe still need something from them. They test those they believe are desperate to be loved. But you don't need permission to exist. You don't need validation to breathe. You don't need approval to stand tall. You already gave yourself what they never could. And once a person does that, the world doesn't try them the same way again. So stand there, calm, grounded, unbothered. Let them whisper, let them wonder, let them keep their distance. You're not here to scare anyone. You're here as proof. Proof that pain can evolve you. Proof that silence can be louder than rage. Proof that unpredictability, when mastered, becomes authority. Proof that the most dangerous people aren't the loud ones. They're the ones who know exactly who they are and don't need to announce it. Word got out, and now the game is over because nobody's stupid enough to test you again.